Good evening, my name is Steve Tinning. I work for the Baptist Union and I've been asked to introduce this evening's prayers on the theme of unaccompanied asylum-seeking children. It is estimated that there are around 10,000 unaccompanied asylum-seeking children in Europe at the moment. 10,000 kids stuck in dire conditions in refugee camps, on the streets, in ill-equipped and under-resourced shelters in countries that are often overwhelmed with refugees and frequently hostile to their presence. 10,000 children escaping war, famine or persecution without any parents or relatives to provide for them, look out for them and protect them from traffickers and abusers. 10,000 children who have very little knowledge of who to trust or where is safe, or who might treat them with dignity and compassion. 10,000. And that's based on figures prior to the recent evolving crisis in Afghanistan. So in desperation, many of them enter Europe, hoping to reach countries that they believe might be able to give them a future. Mainly, they're just in search of hope, and many look to the UK. But some in the UK look on them with deep suspicion, accusing them of lying about their age to gain access, of intentionally separating themselves from their families in the hope that one day they'll bring them over to, of disregarding other safe countries that could give them sanctuary, claiming Britain's full and has enough problems of its own to worry about without bringing in foreign burdens. Maybe you've wondered similar things. I wouldn't blame you if you had. Elements of the media and certain political individuals have invested a lot of time and energy in painting this bleak picture of these 10,000 children. The trouble is, the child refugees I've spent time with, whose stories I've listened to, are some of the most bravest and most inspirational people I've ever had the pleasure to get to know. Some of these young refugees recently wrote a report for the government on their experiences. One said, "In a camp you feel isolated, exposed and unprotected. You don't get any moral support from a family. You feel lonely in the camps because you're in a new country and that can affect your mental health. Life in a camp is not a life. It is a true tragedy. It is a nightmare with no privacy, no care and no humanity." Another said, "I was fortunate enough to access the DUB scheme to travel safely to the UK. Since I arrived in the UK, I've studied hard. I'm at college doing sports and I want to become a fitness trainer. And now the government has said that they will not continue resettlement for unaccompanied children from Europe. And this makes me feel sad to think of all those children homeless with no other option." The government's latest immigration bill, the Nationality and Borders Bill, if passed, will make it illegal for anyone to enter the UK without permission. 2 in every 3 women and children that the UK would accept as refugees now will be turned away from the future under the proposed bill. The government argues that the bill is designed to deter people, including many children, from making illegal and dangerous channel crossings. But all evidence shows that policies that rely on deterrence to prevent refugees from taking dangerous journeys do not work. Such policies do not address why people come here: for family, for community, security, and to rebuild their lives. Most refugees on the move are completely unaware of policies aimed at deterring their attempts to travel to safety, rendering them completely ineffective. What would prevent the need for these dangerous crossings, however, is a scheme similar to the DUB scheme that saw unaccompanied child refugees brought safely to the UK from Europe. But currently no such scheme exists, and the bill only goes to criminalise and punish child refugees who attempt to find alternative routes to safety in the UK. It makes a mockery of our faith, which demands we actively welcome the stranger, as if we're welcoming angels or even Christ himself. And it makes a mockery of our Saviour, who valued children so much he chastised those who prevented them from coming to him. Please pray. Pray like you have never prayed before. And let me suggest 3 things to pray for. Firstly, and most importantly, pray for the children, many of whom have lost everything, their homes, their parents, and increasingly their hope. They languish in countries that don't want them, can't provide for them, and will not help them. Many dream of a life in a country like the UK, but a tiny proportion of them see those dreams come true. And many have to risk their lives in multiple ways in pursuit of that dream. Please pray for their safety, for their physical and mental well-being. Pray God's angels would guide them to people of compassion and power and away from traffickers and abusers. Pray that they might be reunited with any family that might be alive, but from whom they've been separated. Pray for people to show them mercy. Secondly, pray for our government. Pray that they will be persuaded to open safe routes for unaccompanied children in Europe to come to the UK. Pray that aspects of the Nationality and Borders Bill that seek to criminalise those who try to seek sanctuary in the UK by irregular routes will be challenged and withdrawn. Pray that new schemes that have been launched to bring women and children from Afghanistan to the UK will be appropriately celebrated, that local councils will endeavour to find capacity for them, that foster carers would start coming forward in their droves, and that the success of that scheme will motivate the government to do more and reach the true levels of our responsibility. Lastly, pray for the church, that we would be creative in exploring numerous ways to support child refugees and asylum seekers in the UK, that we would make sacrificial decisions for the sake of those in desperate need of hospitality and welcome, that we would worship God by our pursuit of justice, mercy, and love, not just through our singing, that we might speak up and say, let the children come. Let them come to us. Please pray.